So I've decided to redo the firewall and the floor pans and the floor. The main reason I want to redo these is I didn't do a good job right down here. Hopefully you can see that, of allowing space for the transmission. I also hate how all this goes together. It doesn't look very good. I didn't do a good job up here of getting it there. So I'm gonna cut out and reuse whatever I can or figure out something, but we've got to make this look like something I actually would want someone to see. I think what I'll do is I'll get this disassembled, get this out of the way, get the steering disconnected, get this support brace out, and get everything to where we can actually work on it and see it and bring you back. Ta-da! Got the firewall out and back here, and I halfway traced where the old firewall meets up with it. I especially want to redo this whole lower part, and I also want to redo this pass-through for the steering column. One of the main things I want to do up here on top is I'm going to cut this about a 1/2 inch all the way around and run it through the bead roller, and I'm going to give it a step so that it looks a little more professional. And the big thing I'm going to do is make these, the floor pans, the firewall, and the tunnel and all that, I'm going to make it a whole lot better. So it's something I'm not embarrassed to show people, but I'm instead something that I would gladly let them see, is I'm going to get the rest of this cleaned up. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this lower half just completely off, because that's the part I really want to redo. Don't forget, pretty people need a full face shield. I went ahead and I didn't show you, but I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Haha, lucky number. Sheet metal screws, bolts, whatever you call them, in to hold it in place, and it's all where I want it. And so now I'm going to trace it. So now I know the actual edge. And I did the first one in black, so I had a rough idea of what was what when I put it back in. And this one, and I used the dirt. I literally used the dirt to find it. This time I mounted it and I traced it, and so blue is the good line. Now I need to decide how I'm going to best remake these things in such a way that they're put together in a competent manner, put together in such a competent. Now I've got to put them together as if I knew what I was doing, because the first time I just kind of piecemealed it all together and I really didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to figure it out in space. This time we're going to do a better job of getting the whole panel laid out to where my transition is smoother and better. So I guess first things first, we got to figure out what we need to make. I'm gonna recycle some of the metal from my floor pans, not all of it. I'm gonna try and it's not perfect metal, but stuff is not cheap. And so we're gonna recycle, because I'm not rich, and I'm guessing most of you aren't either. Hopefully, this is close. Yeah, I figured they'd be a little long out there because we need to roll that up just a smidge, but that is definitely showing us that that concept will work. The weld's right here, and I'm gonna just cut around that to help that lay flat there. And then I think we need to roll up about, this would be the easiest way to tell, about there. So essentially you're talking about rolling that a little bit up. First I'm going to cut this off, and then I'm going to roll it. All right, so we're ready to try and test fit it here, which is, so that's how it's fitting right now, which I'm not angry about. Now the other thing I want to do, let me put you back where I can function as a human. Since it's sitting there, I kind of want to see where roughly this is falling at. It's a little better at helping us, and it's magnetic. Now my plan for this, let me pull this out real quick, is I'm going to put a lip. I bought some 3/8 strap, and I'm going to run a lip there, and then I'm going to run a piece out here and to here, and that will end up being the ledge that the front of this floor pan ultimately rests on. So that's why I started here, is so I could take and figure out where it was going to be in space, and then we can start to come to it to make our handy dandy firewall extension. So I tried to mark this with the blue marker, but I think I'm going to see if I can do it better. Yeah. With a pencil, and just for giggles, I'm going to score it right there. Now the hard part, I'm going to put that right at the start of the bend. Okay. That'll give me a way to actually measure it. So I'm going to cut it at 10.5, and then that'll be too long. Oh. Healthy, aren't I? Let's get our little workbench over here. I have all my actual workbench full of parts I took off the truck. I just don't have enough space to put everything, so we're going to use this little guy. And I think I said, oh, let me make sure you can even see what I'm doing. I think I said strap. What I meant was some angle iron, and I'm going to make a shelf. It's still 3/8, but I'm going to put this on the firewall like this. So there's your firewall, and then it'll sit on top, and that'll make a much stronger joint, and it won't be all, it'll just be a lot better way to do it. God, these things eat batteries. Oh, okay. Now I'm actually going to cut this into a smaller section for one part. So hopefully this actually fits. Yeah, that's how it should be. Nope, I made it a little too long. That's okay. But so that's going to be our shelf right there. Oh, I see what I did. I just got to trim this a little bit more, and then it'll be golden. Okay, so I've got this short piece cut, and it'll be that bridge, but this will sit in here. There we go. Almost. And it'll be across there, and then we'll go out to space, and we'll come into space. I got a little ahead of myself. So with this piece of metal sitting right here, I went ahead and traced it. I'm sorry I already did it, and I don't think you could see it super well. But I went in and I traced it and then drew it in. And we need to drop that down on the front and over here. So all of this down here needs to go down just a little. Actually, the easier thing will probably be to raise this part than to lower that. So that's what we'll go do. To the bead roller. Okay. So if I remember right, this needs to be down. I put a test piece in it, and this pushes down. So I think I need it. This is the lower part. I probably want to flop those dies to make it to where I can feed it this way instead of the way it's set up. So let me flip those real quick. I stick this in, put my foot on there. That makes the back down. The back is down, which would be perfect for what we want. All right. Well, it did what we needed it to do. I mean, that's ugly. I didn't care once I figured it out, but I put them in backwards. I flipped them because I didn't think about it being upside down. Oh, well. Golly. Makes me feel dumb. Oh, well. Makes me feel human probably is a better way to say it. But we'll show you our mistakes. There's nothing special about me that I'm never making a mistake. Dang it. All right. Let me get my anvil and we'll tap it. And success. I'd call that a pretty salvage panel. I might sand it and see if it helps it a little bit, but that ought to help it sit quite a bit. All right. I forgot to hit record, but I took it over there and I took you with me. And when I set it, I need to raise this spot just a little bit more. So basically from there to there, let's see, I ran this in like this. So I need to run this one. I'm going to go right there to that corner. Yeah. That's the ticket. All right, all of that to get back to where we were originally. All right. And there you be. So this will sit in just like that. And now that's super solid. And when we do the other end, it'll be rigid all the way across. Now I'm going to cap that and then we'll, of course, grind that flush. But I wanted it to be fairly solid. And then what we'll end up doing is I'll pop a couple of holes in here and we'll rivet it, and then the front will go down to it, and it'll that won't be exposed to the elements at all. And it should make for a much stronger and more reliable joint. But I know I screwed that part up, but I'm pretty stoked with that. I mean, this is a floorboard. At the end of the day, I need it to function more than I need it to be beautiful. Do I want it to be beautiful? Sure, but I'm happy with that. I'll get over it. Now, we've got that piece in. We need to figure out where the rest of it gonna go. So, because the bracing's underneath it, so we're gonna put that right there. That's our left ledge. And so now we need it to be that long. Okay. And what we're going to do is curl that around. And how we'll do that is by cutting some pie cuts and then welding it up. I'm also going to, where we cut the angle, I'm going to go ahead and square that off. But we should be able to make that work pretty easy on Pie Cut Alley. Haha, I like pie. So we'll just cut starting right there and cut some small triangles into it like that, and we'll do that over and over and over until we can actually bend it around the corner. How hot?
Is because you're a dumbass.
I got to thinking about it, and it would probably make the most sense when laying that other bracket out to just simply mark where that comes through and have it match the contour of that corner. So I put that back on there. I drew a line where it was. And now we're going to go see if we can't make it match. The other thing I did was clean this off because I needed a place to work. This was getting to be a pain in the butt to try and do anything. So let's see here. There's my mark. So our line is right here. So this will go about like that, which isn't already a bad fit up. We did pretty good the first guess. Now we need to bring it over the rest of the way and turn that, which would be about like that and about that long. I went ahead and mocked it up after it cooled down just by clamping it. This is the actual bottom down here. I just clamped it around, and now I'll be able to go ahead and start welding it, and then we'll take it apart, finish welding that, clean it all up, and then we'll put it back on. We'll clamp it on again and then use that to figure out where it needs to be trimmed on this back end. I left it long back here so that we could cut it to match correctly on the actual face of our existing bracing. So let's get to tacking. The grinding is done, at least good enough that we can start working on laying out the rest here. Now, one of the, oops, we got that laid down. Now, what I would like to do is, I don't know if I should work on the floor next and the rest of this whole area and then work my way to the trunk or the tunnel. I left this here. I don't know. Obviously, I need as much room there as I can get for my gas pedal. But I also know I need to have, I am going to run a transmission cooler. Sorry, the words don't come out of my mouth, apparently. I'm going to run a transmission cooler on it, and it has a fan on it, just in case, but I bought one that has that. I do need to make that go that way a little more up there, but that can be tweaked in a minute. But what I want to do is I may just use tape to try and map out. I've seen a few people use tape to do it. Puddin's done it. Make It Custom's done it. There's a few people that have done it. Now, if I pull this piece off, although that's square ass in the way, and that I need to do it. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sounds like my dog Bubbles is telling me I screwed that up. Just want it down so I have a good reference. So after I got the tape in place and got it set up, it took quite a bit of time to actually try and figure out how I wanted to tackle this. And I experimented with just hand rolling some cardboard. I tried to put it in the slip roller and that kind of stuff, but I kind of struggled to make it work the way I wanted to. So I was just hand rolling cardboard. And I've actually seen Puddin do this quite a bit, where he'll try and make it in cardboard before he actually commits to steel. A, to get an idea of how much it takes, but B, so you can see how it's going to work. And so what I'm ended up doing, or what think I'm going to end up doing, is splitting it in two. What I mean by that is this section is pretty straightforward. What I think I'm going to do here is there's going to be a join there. And so everything over here is just a square with a step that we can work with. Well, rectangle may not be perfectly square. Oops. But over here we have all of our shapes. This curves, and I put these angles on there to help illustrate it, but this curves this way. That compound curve goes that way, and it's steeper, you know, and then this also goes that way. And so I messed around and messed around and messed around with a piece of cardboard, and this is not even remotely the exact size. I was just more trying to see how I would do it. And that's when I got I made the decision that I'm going to try and split this up into regions.
One eternity later.
Things have been going poorly with me trying to make that. So I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to work on this floor pan. Something a little simple, and I can still make progress. Now I think what I want to do, essentially, I want this shape. I'm going to bead roll into this part of this panel. None of my cutouts are big enough to be able to do a floor in one shot, and I really don't want to waste it. But I was thinking, if I make this a section where this steps down and then it steps down here, I could make a section here and a section here, and then work on filling all this back in. And that actually might be a pretty fun way to rebuild all of this and give it a better appearance, but also a lot more. Part of the reason I wasn't sad to cut into these is I got to really worrying about the noise, like the drone that would come when you drive from all of this flat surface area with nothing in it. And I have an idea for the back. I don't think I'm going to redo all this, but I watch a lot of Make It Custom, and he's been bead rolling with an air hammer in to the floor, and I really like that idea. Maybe laying something out here and using my air hammer to bead roll some stuff in. So we'll see. And so if I put that on that edge, and then wonder if I can make a halfway decent shape underneath here. What do we draw? There's a line here, a line here, a line there, and a line there. Which, that seems pretty close. Now, we're going to draw a line. And it's just going to be right across there. And that meets up with the end of this, goes there, and then we're going to have it fill in this section. And so I want it 16 and a half, so we'll say 17 long. So 17 long, yeah, 18. Just because I'm going to drop it quite a bit. And then this is back here, 6.5 and 5.5. So if I go, how did I have that sitting in here? Like this? Yeah. So this would be, well, that covers. Right there. So actually, I need to lay it like that, huh? Duh. Connect the dots. Oh, let's make you a little bit bigger. Right there. And then back here, we're looking there. And, oh, let's go there. just maybe we can ballpark it right in there. There. Oh gosh. Outside to outside is 6.5. So we'll go 7. I bet you're halfway straight. Ish. Kinda. Screw it. There. Panel be damned. I love that, dude. It works very nice. And it makes curly French fries. Or, given the time of year, Christmas tree-ish. So what I'd like to do is drop it in these. So I need to figure out a way. If that were right there and fell on top, let me clean the rest of that edge up. I'm gonna have to use the cutoff wheel a little bit and clean this edge up. Straight enough for the way I draw. Let's go make that in the bead roller. Now we've got our step. And when I put it like that, now I've got an anchor reference that I can use to mark this guy out and this guy. So, and then that appears to be right there. Oh, stupid. There we go. Let's trim that piece off. Back and forth, back and forth. Trying to make it fit. Back and forth, back and forth. Can be boring as huh? Please tell me I'm doing this right. I'm gonna be pissed if I didn't. I didn't. I totally didn't. No harm, no foul. I was right the first time and then I changed my mind. Okay. Just to warm up. Come on, bite, 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 bite. Really do need to get a motor on this thing. All right. Oh, look at that. Like a glove. Now we just need to mark that part and that part. Like that. Cut my life into pieces. Couple beads and we are done. I lost my hat. Oh well. You'll still think I'm pretty, because pretty people wear a full face shield. Sorry, I couldn't figure out which line was what, so we made them weak. I left it a little long right here, just because I'm not sure the best way yet that I want to join all this stuff, and it may be under It may be, you know what I mean? I need to get the pattern below up top. I wonder, can we take this? I think we can. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Whoa, ha, ha, ha. We are going to take our handy dandy tape. That's what we're going to go with. Huh. Oh, that's fantastic. All right. Heck yeah, that worked. And hopefully, oh, I guess I could just do it the sensible way, but that's less fun. It's not as destructive. I like destruction. Remember, you can't learn if you don't break something. What we're going to end up doing is bead rolling on the inside of all of this to make it look pretty. There we go. Now, my goal is to just run the inside of that line for each one of them. That'll work. I'm gonna hammer it down just a little because I don't know if you can see that, it sprung up. That is so much more rigid. Let me sand and see if we can't make it pretty. We're trying to just fill this spot right here. Ha ha ha! Just like that. I've been trying to solve my broken air compressor to much failure, so I think we'll keep working on the floor a little bit. This is why it's important to really take your time and measure precisely and double and triple check when you cut out panels in custom and weird shapes. Now to see how close we got. Pretty dang close, except for that. Well, actually, when that slides in, I need to take a little bit off right there. Then it'll slide in, I think. We're hitting the bar right here, so I just need to cut a little bit off of that. So let's do that real quick. I need to bend that up a little.
It was at this moment that he knew.
It's just a matter of getting it rotated. I may end up leaving this. It needs to rotate a little bit. But that definitely got that part where we want it. There. Regulators, mount up. That doesn't look right. Oh, well. Let's see if we can figure out where everything actually is. So I think what I'm going to do is this line is this line. So we will cut a lip along there, and then that's that part. We'll probably work on laying that, leave that width where it is. This over here is going to be hard to get a lip on. It just is. But I think we'll be all right. Now we just got to start figuring out how we want to join everything. I'm going to mark that. And it goes. Okay, so that's roughly there. There's a giant weld seam there. And then it needs to be up that whole way. Or somewhere in there. Because I want it to go up and down and go up here. So really, something needs this needs to be up, this needs to be up, so this needs extra more, and that needs it, and then these need it too. All right, that makes sense to me. You need to be up, and you need a step. All right, let's go see what we can screw up. Look at that. Looks like somebody did something right for a change. Ish. Don't judge that part. We'll work on that. Now to figure out how high the lip should be. And then we'll trim this guy. And we'll weld. Now, that piece and that piece. This is 18 and it's built to handle up to 20, so we're pushing. But I really like the edge better. There it went. Such a clean line. So much nicer. Now, hopefully, this is fairly close. Yep. Yes, it is. All right. So that'll take care of that piece. And then, I mean, we got work we need to do up here yet. And the what? I got this piece, which could easily become that. Oh, where did you come from? Where did you go? I don't know. I need to make that little step, which might fall off for me. I don't know. Starting to look like a floor though. Just got to patch them all together. Wasn't really a good way to show this on film, but I've marked the cuts for that little piece to be able to line it up and made it all up. So I'm going to start cutting that real quick. And I don't know how much of it I'm going to physically like tack together until we've made that piece, but I'd like to get it laying down and stuff. See how close we were? That's fairly close. Okay. I cut that a little too wide with my guesstimate, but I'm not too worried about that because I'll be able to weld that solid across there because there's nothing but good metal there. And okay, so that the last piece is this one that I can't really reach that we screwed up with before. But there is the rough shape of our floor in pieces. I've got to clean the floor. Kind of an unconventional way to make it in pieces, but trying to, I think I kind of want to make a step or something there to make it look the same, tie it in a little better with that. But we shall see. I decided that probably the smartest way to add that little triangle on would be to just simply tack it. It took me a while to figure out the best way to mount it to make it feel like it was flush, but I thought I would tack it and then we could flip it over, put it back in place, and make sure it's lining up how it's supposed to line up. And then once it's all put on, we can simply trim it to fit the other panel. I hope that makes sense, but we're going to tack it real quick, just in a couple of spots, and see what it looks like. There. Let's see. I know, I got too much crap in here, but yeah, we're talking. So I went ahead and just finished it off camera after it cooled. All that is the same thing we've been doing. Welded it top and bottom, ground it down, and then sanded it to make it nice and smooth. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I'll think of it in a minute. But he talks about don't wait to finish everything all, till the end. When you make a repair like this or fix it or whatever, go ahead and get it all the way done. That way it's done and you don't get overwhelmed by, hours of grinding and stuff later. So instead of just leaving that tacked, I went ahead and just finished it. Honestly, if you like seeing sheet metal work, you should check out Fitzees' channel. I'll try and figure out how to put a thing in the video here. I don't know if I know how to do that. But anyway, Fitzees does a lot with minimal tooling, and so he's really taught me quite a bit about how to make some crazy shapes when you don't have the fancy tools and stuff. I also really like Make It Custom. And of course, I like Puddin' and some of those Cornfield Customs. If you're really into sheet metal stuff, is incredible. I'm trying to think who else I really like. But I watch quite a few. Puddin' does a lot of nice sheet metal, even though that's not his bag. But I do enjoy how he approaches it. Make It Custom and Cornfield and Fitzees are probably my 3 main ones that I watch for just sheet metal. Now I've clamped this one pretty well down where it goes, so then we can come in here and start to figure out. I also went ahead and put that little step in on this piece so that it ends. It doesn't just have that weird abrupt ending. But I wish I could get out here and clamp right there, because that actually looks pretty good. To like so my plan on this line right here is to literally use Fitzees technique of cut and butt, I believe is what he calls it, but clamping, putting a tack here, and then cutting along to line them up. But trying to think of the best way to do that, given my the frame is in the way of me being able to get a clamp in there. I guess I could just put all my fat butt on it. That might have to just work. Put a tack, push, tack, push, tack. Okay, that's what we'll have to do. Here we go. Let's start tacking a little bit along here and make these two a panel that can be set in here. And we'll make it all pretty at the end, but on the edges and stuff, I know this is a little long, but I would rather have a little bit more and then trim it. Now, one of the things I have learned is that when you're doing this, you want to go from that end to this end. You don't want to hop around trying to cut it, because the metal will move, and you just match it up and go along, and it turns out way nicer. So that is how we're going to approach this. I'm going to re-clamp those things down real quick, so they are where I want them, and then we'll, this one's flush, and I'm going to go ahead and put that one in place. Where did I put the other clamp? Well, down there. Ha ha. Holy cow. And I'm hopeful that now, after all that, ouch, you should be able to, come on, I'm caught right there. And there you have it. Cut and butt with Fritzy. His technique definitely works. I'm very excited. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, but I couldn't have made that panel doing it another way. I now have a floor pan that's going to be strong. It's going to work. It's going to look like someone tried. I won't say one. I can put it in and out. But I just made a floor pan. Now we got a lot of work left on this, but I think I'm going to wrap this video there. That's the cut and butt technique that Fritzy talks about a lot, and his channel is a great wealth of information. I'm not going to pretend to be great at it, but it does definitely work, and it helped me make a much better panel than I had in place before, and build it with the tools I had rather than having to buy anything new. If you've liked this video, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe, like it, tell your friends, hit the bell icon, do whatever other people tell you to do. I'm not that great about knowing how to promote a channel, but if you've ever wondered, I started this because when I was growing up, there was no one who looked like me. There was no people with one hand or limb differences or whatever that I really saw. I had Jim Abbott, which I really did like, but I just thought this would be a great way to show somebody who has a disability, has a difficulty, and still goes out and tries. Am I the best? Absolutely not. I wouldn't even consider myself a hack at this point, but I am trying. I'm doing something I'm really excited about, I like, and I just hope that if you see this, it helps you believe that you can do it too. In between videos, I post on Instagram. You can check us out. It's UpwardPenny, all one word. Here's the banner down below. I put a post to Fritzy's channel, or at least I tried to link it down there. I'm not very good at this stuff, but I put that down there. So check him out. It's really worth your time to see a cut and butt and how it works and what he does with very basic tools. And till the next time, don't forget that the only time you can't do something is when you won't do something. Thanks for watching.